Welcome to DMG Today on Time Warner Cable Channel 2. I'm WJER Radio's Bill Morgan, and on this month's show, we'll be exploring Tuscarora Park here in New Philadelphia, taking you around and seeing some of the different sites at the park, and talking with Park Assistant Superintendent Chase Hostetler.
Also, Bill travels across the river on today's episode of DMG Today to talk with Dover Mayor Richard Homrighausen. He is the longest serving mayor in Dover, so we'll get a look at his history and what he's been through in the city of Dover throughout all of the years.
And coming up later on during this edition of the show, Cheyenne Carroll goes outside of the greater Dover, New Philadelphia area and visits the Broad Run Cheese House and Swiss Heritage Winery on Old State Route 39 between Dover and Sugar Creek. Cheyenne will talk with Chad Schindler about the cheese making process and other interesting things happening inside the Broad Run Cheese House and Swiss Heritage Winery, all when this edition of DMG Today continues on Time Warner Cable Channel 2.
I think the hands-on aspect is going to give you an opportunity to explore, find out what you're good at, what you like, and you're not going to have mountains of debt. What you're going to have is a marketable skill that even if you don't love it, you can use that to pay to go on to college and get that degree. And we've got a number of students that do that. They're very mature. I think we're a great hands-on exploration base.
Hi, this is Heather, the Garden Girl, and I am so excited to be able to announce to you guys, the viewers, that I have now opened the Garden Girl shop. Well, where are you going to find me at? It's real easy. I'm located at 1881 7 Mile Drive, tucked in behind the Point Cafe. So come visit me Wednesday through Fridays from 10 to 6, Saturdays from 10 to 4, Sundays from 11 to 3. However, if you see the big garage door up, that means I'm here and you are always more than welcome to stop in. Also, don't forget my priority is educating you guys, so stay tuned for all my make and take workshops where you can come in, learn, get your hands dirty, and head home with your very own projects. Can't wait to see you.
Today's episode of DMG Today continues at Tuscarora Park. So we were able to see the merry-go-round, we've watched people jump in the water, and we even took a ride on the Ferris wheel. But coming up, you're going to get to see Mayor Rick Homrighausen of Dover sit down for an interview with our own Bill Morgan. He's going to talk about what he's done as mayor throughout his numerous terms, as he's still got a few more years in this term, and also things he's seen throughout the years and what it's been like to serve for that long in one community. That's all coming up on DMG Today, but I think we've got a few more strokes before we finish this game.
We've been on one side of the Tuscarora River during today's episode of DMG Today. That was in New Philadelphia, and obviously by the gentleman seated to my right, we're on the opposite side of the Tuscarora River now in Dover, talking about the city of Dover with longtime Mayor Rick Homrighausen. Mayor Rick, when we talk about a guy who lived the first part of his life in Canton, how did you end up in Dover and eventually becoming the leader of this great city?
Well, Bill, I grew up in Canton, but my dad grew up in Dover. He was a member of the 32-33 state champ team, and when we were looking for a place to open our funeral home, Dad suggested Dover, and we came down and looked at houses, and the third one we looked at was the one that we eventually bought, and took 15 months to renovate and open the doors, and for 27 years that's what we did. And part of those 27 years was probably 14, 15 years after we opened. I ran for city council, served on council as Ward 1 councilman, and then Guy Smith decided to retire after 20 years as mayor, and he talked to me, and first I said no, then talked with Linda, and the boys were 8 and 5 at that time, and just mulled things over and said, well, you know, if you think you can offer something that the other candidate isn't going to offer, and you don't do it, then you aren't being true to, you know, your convictions. So we ended up running. Months before the election, we were 3-1 underdog. The week before the election, we were still 2-1 underdog. Ended up winning by, I believe, 52 votes. So.
Mayor Rick Holmberghausen from the city of Dover, our guest on DMG Today. And Mayor, a lot of people are successful in business. Some are successful in politics. Some of those that try and transition from business to politics aren't so successful. Was there anything particular you took from your success in business that's helped you in the political world?
I would have to say dealing with the public. You know, as a funeral director, you have to have rapport with the people that are coming through the door, and the families. You have to have empathy, and so you know, that's helped me a great deal in being able to deal with the public. Don't always do it that well, but it has helped me a great deal.
Well, he's done it well most of the time. You don't get reelected 6 times in his 7th term as mayor. Mayor Rick Holmberghausen from the city of Dover, our guest on DMG Today. What are the biggest differences sitting in the mayor's chair from when you started many years back to where you are today? Maybe some of the different challenges, if you will.
Well, you know, the light plant was a big issue. We were in the middle of a $56 million expansion that started out at $27 million, and it just kept creeping higher and higher. And I felt, as a member of council, in looking at all of the information and all of the financials, that we would have gone from the lowest rates in the state to the highest rates in the state overnight if we had moved forward with the expansion. And by my position on that, a lot of people thought I was against the light plant. But you know, I'm one of the biggest supporters of the light plant. I serve as Dover's lobbyist in DC and in the state for our light plant. It was because of my one of my 5 times testifying before the U.S. Senate that kept Dover viable. And gave us and all other entities like Dover that generate less than 25 megawatts an exemption from the majority of the Clean Air Act rules and regulations.
Mayors, we talk about some of the current things going on in the city of Dover. I know you're pretty excited about some of the developments with the building going up on the north side.
Yes, Novogradac, which is a national accounting firm, is building a 3-story office building up there to better serve their clients. They're growing. They started out with 6 accountants. They're up to 160, I believe, and are creeping up towards 200. That building is nearing completion, and also across the street from Novogradac, Union Hospital is putting up a building for 8 to 10 docs and 2 nurse practitioners, and that is supposed to be done by the end of October, 1st of November. So those 2 buildings are going to be a boost to the north end. And then when you go past the hospital building, that location at the end of, which is called Dublin Drive, at the end of Dublin Drive and at the cul-de-sac, that's where our new fire safety substation is going to be constructed. So.
Mayor Rick Holmberghausen, our guest on DMG Today. Mayor, when you reflect back on what is a quarter of a century sitting in the mayor's chair, working with council and talking to the public, it might be hard to say, hey, here's my top accomplishment, here are some things I'm really happy about, but maybe not. Tell us your feelings in that regard.
I would have to say in the 24 and a half years I've been mayor, not quite a quarter century. I would have to say the interchange on County Road 80. That took me 19 years for that project to come to fruition. We had federal funding, we had some state funding. The idea started with Mayor Guy Smith, and then I was able to take the ball and run with it. Although it took a lot longer than I anticipated, but that's got to be one of the top ones because it opens up the whole north end of the town for future expansion and business and industrial growth. And then you add where we combined all of the general services facilities and electric field facilities down at the end of 3rd Street by 77, and Novogradac, the hospital building, purchasing the old Elks and the new Elks and turning the new Elks into city council chambers and a nice meeting room. All of those combined to, I think, steady progress for the city.
Mayor Rick, our guests, we talked the city of Dover, and wrapping up our conversation here on DMG Today. Mayor, you've talked a little bit about the history, how you got to the city of Dover, the politics. Let's focus on some of the fun parts of being mayor. What are some of the experiences maybe you had in leading this city that if you were the average guy like me or Keith Jokey, our camera guy walking down the street, maybe you wouldn't have gotten to experience?
I think our bicentennial celebration, that was a neat year where we had a lot of celebrations. We constructed the bicentennial mural, which sits out here adjacent to City Hall and in the vacant lot. We had an unveiling. Every section that we put together had a lot of people come in that were depicted on that mural. And then the final celebration, which has turned into our end of summer celebration. End of summer celebration is a great time. The old time baseball game, which kicks off the end of summer celebration. And meeting with the 3rd graders every year. That's a lot of fun. And doing weddings. I never thought I would do weddings. Since my dad was a Lutheran pastor for 50 years, well, you know, that should be left up to the clergy. But then one of my clergy friends says, well, would you rather have them get married by you or live together unwed? And so, you know, I made the decision to go ahead and do it. And we have sometimes 1 or 2 a week, and yeah, that's a lot of fun. And you can tell which ones are really in love and which ones are just following through on a promise, I guess. But
you know what? Maybe it's a new show for TV2. We could have Mayor Rick's Court talking about things like that as well. Well, Mayor, certainly you are a busy guy without any question. We appreciate your time, and thanks so much for the leadership you've given to the city of Dover.
Thank you very much, Bill. I appreciate it.
Well, I woke up to the sound of silence and cars. We're cutting like knives in a fist fight. And I found you with a tear in your eye, your head in the curtains and heart like the 4th of July.
You swore and said, we are not shining stars. This I know, I never said we are.
If you're lost and alone, or you're sinking like a stone, carry on. May your past be the sound of your feet upon the ground. Carry on. Carry on, carry on. We are shining stars. Carry on, carry on. We are who we are.
Myers & Miller Podiatry provides complete foot and ankle care to patients of all ages. The practice was established in 2000 by Dr. Adam Myers and has grown to include Dr. Andy Miller in 2007, Dr. Jason Bakich in 2010, and most recently Dr. Kristen Henry in 2015. Our core values of respect and honesty are the basis for how we manage our practice, and we continue to grow by building relationships with our patients in order to better serve their needs. Myers & Miller Podiatry serves Tuscarawas and Holmes counties with offices in Dover, Sugar Creek, Newcomerstown, Millersburg, and our newest location in Uricksville. Let's get started with building our relationship.
Tuscarora Park, certainly one of the crown jewels in Tuscarawas County, and happy to be joined by Assistant Superintendent of Parks in New Philadelphia, Chase Hostetler. And Chase, sort of interesting for you to work here as an adult because you essentially grew up in this park. Tell us a little bit about what it was like to come and work here full time.
Well, since I've been 5 years old, my mom has worked here for RTY, running the concessions and catering aspect of the park. And I grew up here. Some of my earliest childhood memories are from the park, and I'll have my last memories will be here from the park. So it's exciting to be here working.
Chase, when we talk about the history of this park, and certainly one of the great things it offers today, it's affordable family fun. And when we talk about that, ticket prices here are unbelievably affordable in the year 2016.
They truly are. We offer a family package for more of our locals. Monday through Thursday, a single ticket is 75 cents. You can buy a book of 10 tickets for $5. And Friday through Sunday, a book of tickets of 10 tickets is $8, and a single ticket is $1.
Chase, you talk about having grown up in this park. What are some of the big differences you've seen from maybe when you were a kid riding the merry-go-round to managing the merry-go-round or the carousel today?
I think that's some of the best characteristics that the park has to offer. A lot of it hasn't changed. It's just upkeep, and keeping the general look of the park the same has been important for the community.
Chase Hostetler from Tuscarora Park, our guest on DMG Today on Time Warner Cable Channel 2. And when you talk about being involved in the community, which the park is, Chase, certainly one of the big ways you do that is by involving the young people. And you can look from whether it might be maintenance workers, or whether it might be young people running the rides or working the concession stands. A lot of teenagers here in New Philadelphia are employed by the park.
They are. And as far as any employment through the city, you just talk to our HR department, Mary Kurtz. She'll be more than happy to help you assist in getting a job here for the city. As far as our RTY is concerned, you can contact Colleen Hostetler at the park office at 330-343-4644 for more details.
Chase, one of the favorite things that we like to do on DMG Today is talk about food. Now, when we talk about the food here at Tuscarora Park, do you have a favorite item from the concession stand?
As you can see, I'm not a picky eater, but we do. We offer a wide variety of food for all family members, young and old, anywhere from a hot dog to a gyro. So if you like lamb meat and that's your thing, you can come and certainly have that as well.
And when we talk about variety, Chase, whether it's food or other things, we have the amphitheater, which is over your right shoulder, so people can be entertained there. And of course, really all parts of the park, sometimes people don't see when they're in this immediate area. You guys have tennis courts, you have basketball courts, and technically Woody Hayes Quaker Stadium is a part of the park.
It is. We rent it to the school. I think it's $1 a year. Just something that the school gets to enjoy, and as well as the community, for Friday nights, and every once in a while there's a soccer game in there. We also have bocce ball on the other side of the park as well, that wasn't mentioned, and there are groups and leagues that come in and play throughout the year.
It is all at Tuscarora Park in New Philadelphia, where we're hosting this month's edition of DMG Today on Time Warner Cable Channel 2. Chase, I guess when we talk about some of the other great features of the park, one of the things that I've always liked, and from the time that my kids were little bitty ones, when they first came here, I believe my son was 2 and my daughter was 1, we take them on the Ferris wheel. And I can remember we were visiting at that time, my in-laws in Sugar Creek, and my wife said, well, we've got to go to this place, Tuscarora Park. So we came here, and at that time, single ride tickets were $25. 25 cents. That was about 1999. And Chase, I said to my wife, are we in Mayberry? And really, it's sort of what that is like today. That's complimentary. That's not insulting.
Yeah.
A great small town feel here.
That's what Tuscarora Park is geared towards, is cheap, affordable fun for any family member. So if you have one child or you have 4 or 5 kids, it's still going to be affordable for you and your family to come out and have a great time here at Tuscarora Park.
Chase, one of the things you have worked on implementing since you came to work full time here, along with Rod Miller and the other great people that run the park, is something a little bit different. It's the Fall Festival. It's a couple of months away from that, but tell people a little bit about that.
Well, our Fall Festival this year is going to take place October 16th. We will have a fire truck demonstration. We will have police vehicle demonstration, face painting, and also a pumpkin carving contest and painting contest that you can find more details at your local school come this fall.
Chase, when we talk about your idea for the Fall Festival, it really sort of meshes in well with 2 established events at the park, Mac and Turf Realty's Christmas in the Park, and something that the Howard Hanna Real Estate has been doing for an extended period of time, and that's an Easter celebration here, again sort of emphasizing family things here in the park.
Yeah, we wanted to, the park's a beautiful place all year round, and we wanted to give something additional for the community to come and enjoy throughout the year. And fall, we kind of had a gap, and we wanted to do something for the community. I can't take all the credit though for that. A lot of administration had their hand in it, and they've done a great job so far. So I look forward to it.
All a part of what's happening at Tuscarora Park in New Philadelphia, our host site for this edition of DMG Today on Time Warner Cable Channel 2. And when the show rolls on, we'll take you from Tuscarora Park in New Philadelphia to the town on the other side of the Tuscarawas River, the city of Dover. I'll have an opportunity to sit down and talk with longtime Dover Mayor Rick Holmrighausen. It's all when DMG Today continues on Time Warner Cable Channel 2.
Just wanting to be a police officer, I knew this was a great start, and it turned out to be a fantastic one.
Just be able to actually see what you're doing, what you're working on, and understand how you can take one thing and turn it into something else.
We got to creatively use skills and academics and see how we can place them into our fields.
It was pretty much I had the key to open the door, and that was from Buckeye.
WJER and TV2 would like to introduce you to a new website, WJERTV2.com, where you can watch exciting high school football, soccer, and volleyball replays from TV2 Sports on your home computer, smartphone, or tablet. Also watch the latest episodes of TV2's original programming, Sports Talk, The Garden Girl, The Not So Shy Chef, Off the Record, and Medical Minutes, as well as catch up on local community news and search for local businesses. So make sure to check out the new WJERTV2.com community website where everything's local.
DMG Today continuing from Tuscarora Park in New Philadelphia, and certainly when you think of Tuscarora Park, think of a couple of different things to be sure. Some of the iconic rides, and Cheyenne and I are sitting on one of those in the Ferris wheel. Of course, a number of other great things happening at the park that you'll be seeing throughout the course of the show on this month's edition of DMG Today. Also happening in and around Tuscarawas County, Cheyenne Carroll had a chance to head out to the Broad Run Cheese House and Swiss Heritage Winery on Old State Route 39 to talk about their operations with Chad Schindler.
We're here at Broad Run Cheese, and Chad, tell me a little bit about the history of your business, because it has grown so much to where you now have a winery here as well, right?
Correct. The history of the business, it was started in 1933 by a group of farmers in the area that wanted to market their own milk, make cheese out of their own milk, and sell their own product. It remained a farmers co-op until 1978. When my parents, John and Nancy Schindler, bought the company and basically put in retail. It was the main thing they did right at the first when they bought it. to go along with the cheese. And over the years, we've added an extensive gift shop, curtains and lace, and most recently our own line of wines, Swiss Heritage wines.
Okay, and you were telling me that you make your own Swiss cheese here, but you also sell other cheeses as well, but Swiss is really your thing.
We do. Swiss is our thing. We make Swiss in a couple different varieties. We make a mild Swiss, a sharp Swiss, and a smoked Swiss. We sell upwards of 30 other different varieties of cheese that we get from distributors from within the state as well as out of state.
And what keeps your business so vibrant? Because as we stand here and do this interview, there are people just walking in and out. What is so special about what you have here?
Well, I think it's, you know, one thing is the variety of products we have. It seems like we have something for everybody. And I think that's what keeps people coming back, one thing. Another thing is our staff. We've been told different times how fun it is to come in here. The staff's very friendly. You know, for people to have fun, come in, have fun, you know, along with the staff. And I think that's one of the things too that keeps people coming back.
Right, and I've read in reports before that we have entirely too much cheese here in America. Now, I know I eat my fair share of cheese. Do we have too much? Are you ever stopping your cheese making process, or is that something you do every single day, no matter what?
I'm never gonna tell you we have too much cheese. No, we make, actually here we make 6 days a week. Monday through Saturday, and you know, we have our own number of producers. We have around 80 different milk producers that we bring milk in from every day, and with that milk we make our cheeses out of that milk. And not only do we sell our own products here over the counter, we also have a wholesale, a couple different wholesalers that we sell our big blocks of cheese to, and then they will move it as well for us.
But really, it's an adventure to come out here and just take a look through everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think you ought to come check it out, and I think you'll enjoy it.
All right, well, let's take a trip inside, and we're going to check out the cheese making process here on DMG Today.
So the following morning, this is where the cheese comes after it's been pressed and sets overnight. It comes into this salt brine solution, which adds some of the flavor, and it also puts a rind on the cheese. So it'll stay in here about a day, and as you can see, give you a little idea of how the thickness of the cheese. It's about an 8-inch thick slab of cheese that comes out of the vats, and so that's the size that we have the cheese, and then we cut it down from there once it cures. Out of a piece of cheese this size, we'll get 24 8-pound pieces of cheese is basically what will come out of one block. Like this. This is basically a 200-pound block of cheese. And what happens is this will be in here for a day. It'll be pulled out of this salt brine. It'll be set up on a table. It'll drain till it's dry, and then we'll bag it, vacuum seal it, put it in a box, and we'll cure it for however long that we determine the correct flavor, however long time we need to do to get the correct flavor and whole formation. When we go to grade our cheese, there's different grades of cheese. We hope to make them all A grade, but it doesn't always happen. We use this cheese trier. which basically takes a sample out of the middle of a block of cheese when determined it could be ready. So we'll take a trier plug out of here to check the flavor, the hole formation, and a number of other things to determine whether that cheese is ready to take out and put in the cooler. So I'll just take a sample out of this cheese, and I'll show you how we do it. So this is the cheese as it comes out, and we determine based on the hole formation, number of holes, size of the holes, then we'll pinch off a little bit of the end to taste the cheese as well, to get an idea of what that cheese is like. So that's the process of grading cheese.
Hi, this is Heather, the Garden Girl, and I am so excited to be able to announce to you guys, the viewers, that I have now opened the Garden Girl shop. Well, where are you going to find me at? It's real easy. I'm located at 1881 7 Mile Drive, tucked in behind the Point Cafe. So come visit me Wednesday through Fridays from 10 to 6, Saturdays from 10 to 4, Sundays from 11 to 3. However, if you see the big garage door up, that means I'm here, and you are always more than welcome to stop in. Also, don't forget my priority is educating you guys, so stay tuned for all my make and take workshops where you can come in, learn, get your hands dirty, and head home with your very own projects. Can't wait to see you.
Thanks for watching today's episode of DMG Today as we visited Tuscarora Park. You too can visit Tuscarora Park as the park is open through Labor Day with so many activities and food for you to come down and enjoy right here in New Philadelphia. Bill, what's happening on our next episode?
When DMG Today returns next time around, believe it or not, we'll be back to a new school year, and we'll kick off the next episode by visiting with Bob Alsep, the superintendent, and others out at the Buckeye Career Center on the east side of New Philadelphia. That's all when the next edition of DMG Today unfolds here on DMG Channel 2 from Time Warner Cable.